Hello everybody, this is Dr. Eric Etka, and I'm just going to leave this screen up here for a little bit, and we'll get to know each other a little bit. There's a lot more people coming in at the moment. We actually have a packed house tonight. There's about 250% more people on this webinar as opposed to last night, which was more the United States, Virginia area, and this one is more global. So I know that I definitely hit the recording button this time. I remember to do that. We have folks in Australia, Italy, and also in Denmark that want to make sure that this is recorded for them so that they can listen to it tomorrow and stuff like that. Before we get into a couple of things, we're gonna hang on for a second and watch as other people start to come in as they keep pouring in. Now we can only have 35 people on this particular webinar, and that's fine. That's a small amount because I'm going to answer questions from people, and also it's a participation, so I'm going to have people raising their hands just to make sure they're paying attention and stuff like that. Plus I also have a sidebar that you might not be able to see that lets me know if the people are actually paying attention to their screen or not, so that's pretty fun to hang on with. Now it's interesting to know if there's 4 types of ADHD clients, people, whether they're adults or kids. There's the people that maybe just got diagnosed and this is all new to them and they're trying to get more information. There's the group that's been in it for a while, but they're looking for something new and a better way, possibly without medication. There's the next group that is definitely has gotten results with medication and things like that, but they just aren't happy with where things are actually headed, and they want to find a non-medicated approach to certain things. And that's, I think, a lot of people are in there. And the fourth group, of course, is the group of people that are completely a mess. They've tried different medications, they've been through ups and downs, they've tried so many different things, and they're really grasping at straws right now. They're very frustrated with their ADHD, and some people have lost hope with that. So really trying to cover all 4 of these areas for those people. Tonight we're going to hit a couple of spots, but particularly we're going to focus on the neurofeedback and the new EEG headsets that are out there for commercial use, which makes it easy. And also, of course, we're going to go over exactly what is Pocus. What is this new video game that's brain controlled, really? And I'm going to hit that really hard. We're going to hit some of the research behind it. And as always, even my real world clients, face-to-face people I see every day, they know that I want to bring them concrete evidence, concrete recommendations, nothing that's just a theory or someone's philosophy that it's probably a good idea or maybe we should try this. I see that too much on social media. I see different groups. I'm involved in 25 plus groups across the planet for ADHD, and I see folks grasping at straws and trying to help each other out and just give ideas, and that's well and good, but there's a problem with that, is that they're not credentialed. They aren't educated to the fact of knowing exactly what's going on with an ADD brain, and also to give it medical advice like that, especially in the United States, is, for lack of a better term, it's malpractice. So I don't want anybody to get in trouble. So we're going to watch our P's and Q's, and we're also going to look out for anybody out there who's just being shisty and wants to take people's money. I am not like that. I grew up with ADHD. I went through the ups and downs. I went on the 4 different medications, so I know what it's like, and I want to derail that future for any kid growing up with ADHD and any adult out there who's listening to this tonight. They are, half of my practice is adult with ADHD or ADD, and they are doing fantastic, and it's definitely a much bumpier road to get better, but I'll tell you what, it's really, really amazing and rewarding to watch their lives come back together and their relationships improve and jobs improve and people get promotions and new certifications, just to name a few things. But all right, as people are pouring in and filling up the spot, we're going to get started. Now, this all began 4 years ago, really, when the last medication I was put on was Concerta, and it was the last straw for me. It did not jive well with my system and my brain, and it caused a lot of erratic behavior. I didn't like it, and it was the scary epiphany that I had to find a new way. I had to find a way with no pills. And that was it. There was a line drawn in the sand, and I searched far and wide. I went to different seminars. I finally met up face to face with Dr. Edward Hollowell, who wrote the book Driven to Distraction. And through that meeting and through the training with him specifically on how to not only help my own ADHD, but also to help others. And from 4 years old to 47, I have clients that are coming in with all different types of stories, and I can feel for them. I can relate to them, and that's something that's very important. I have this compassion for helping people with ADHD, and I'm constantly looking for the best way to do it. And now that we have something like Focus Pocus that we can actually do in our own homes, on a computer, a laptop, your iPad, a PC, a Mac, tablets. I think it's going everywhere. As operating systems get better and better, this is going to be something that you're going to see in every household. Of course, our big push is also with public schools. We want to see that. So that's important. We're looking out not just for the kids, but we're looking for the adolescents, the teenagers who are going through these hormonal changes and stuff like that, and then they're on some ADD medications. It does not help very much. And the adults who have been through decades of ups and downs and failed relationships and jobs and issues, and even entrepreneurs who have every single trait of ADHD with the impulsiveness, the risk-taking behavior, the curiosity, the distractibility, the creativity, all of those things. And so we're going to go through a lot of this stuff tonight. My goal is to be done in about 30 minutes. So let's get started. Now, of the people that are in the room, I want to see a raise of hands. Raise your hand if you are the one that has ADHD. Got it? Got hands going up? Okay. And more, and like by the 3s and 5s and 10s? Okay. Wow. All right. Oh, hands down. Now, hands up if someone else in your life has ADHD or ADD, or you believe they do, and you're looking for help. Got it. Wow, that was almost unanimous for everybody. All right, hands down. Let's just get started. So clearly, we've gone through the 4 different types of people that I've met with ADHD and issues, and all the way from beginning to completely pulling their hair out. Now, what we want to do next is we want to really talk about what is this neurofeedback? What's going on with it? And we're going to get started. Let me bring you into Focus Pocus itself is a video game. It's created by the folks at NeuroCog, right there on the left, and also the research and studies is being backed by University of Wollongong in Australia. So yes, I'm working with a company internationally that is literally 11 hours ahead of us. So that's caused some issues, but we're working through all of those things and making sure it works really well. And we're going to bring this about because I had a question from somebody today concerning the research that goes with this. Okay, so it's important that we know Focus Pocus was initially developed for children with ADHD, and the principles behind it apply to all children. So that's important. We need to know that. Focus Pocus is designed to assist with a broad range of educational aims by targeting the readiness to learn, the core underlying processes that allow a person to focus their attention, keep information in memory, and control their behavior, as shown in the lower level of the graph below. Now, before we even go further, think about that. Think of just a human being that can focus their attention, keep information in memory, and control their behavior. See, the genius with this that I saw when I first got my hands on Focus Pocus was that it's really tailored to a bigger idea of emotional intelligence and being able to handle the emotions and the thought processes and the sustained focus, the impulse control, and I see it every day in my practice. That's why you can probably hear the excitement in my voice, but this is such a cool game. Now, as we go through this, looking at the outcomes, obviously the knowledge and abilities increased. Learning factors, the content, the environment, those are things very important. We teach on how to control your environment within our practice and with other videos so that you understand how to take care of things in the house to support the ADHD and make it less negative. So going down here, we're going to continue. So evidence in support of impulse control and working memory training. Practice at working memory has been shown to result in behavioral change in children with ADHD and also adults trying to reduce alcohol intake. Similar results have been shown for impulse control training in a variety of situations, including reducing high-calorie food, alcohol intake, as well as improving baseball hitting accuracy. Combined working memory and impulse control training has been shown to reduce ADHD symptom frequency. So this is all, I mean, every single sentence is based on research and why this whole game was made, to a lesser extent to improve behavior in non-ADD children. Pocus includes the combined approach with a patent pending on the training mechanism. Okay, so it's important. So now we've also got evidence in support of state control training. The recent meta-analysis of many studies examining neurotraining, state control training for ADHD, showed that training targeting the theta and beta EEG bands can result in clinically meaningful large reductions in inattentive and impulsive symptoms and moderate reduction in hyperactive symptoms. That's a big mouthful sentence, right? But what we're looking at is when the headset is on the client, when it's on the person, and what it does is it projects 8 different brainwaves through the Bluetooth adapter in the computer, and it shows up and it can monitor 8 different levels, okay? And we know that the beta theta levels are very important for what we're working on here. Pocus utilizes this type of attention targeted training as well as relaxation and Zen, what they call Zen or the zone. The zone is that place when you've seen someone with ADHD when they're interested in something and they really care about the outcome, and the work they produce is incredible. It's amazing, and you're looking at it later, and if it's your child, you're beaming with pride. You're like, yes, that's my kid. That is awesome. And that's what you want to bottle. That's what we work on in the ADHD Society, is getting that piece, that genius, that amazing ability to work more often than not. Because a lot of people just see ADHD as a disorder, as a negative thing, as a problem, and a disorder in society. But we see it differently. And we're going to make that change happen. So looking through here, using this range of state control tasks assists the child to develop awareness and control of their state broadly, rather than just one aspect of it. And for the training effects to generalize outside of the training situation, that means, okay, if let's say Johnny's got a headset and he's using Focus right next to me and we're working on it in the practice, or Johnny's at homeschool, or Johnny's with his mom and they're all hanging out in the living room, when Johnny does well on a game, because he's controlling his sustained focus, because he's controlling his impulses, because his working memory is getting better. When Johnny realizes that wherever he goes, that brain is with him, that changes the game entirely. And I hope that settles into your brain, like gets you goosebumps. Imagine a community of people, a powerful brain that have control over it, moving forward in life, solving problems that we could never solve before, and doing amazing things and controlling their emotional intelligence. This is a big deal. Okay, so we're very excited to bring this to you guys. Now, the case study has shown that EEG data obtained using a headset system shows sensitivity of variations in a psychological state, such as higher proportions of attention, which is the beta activity, during cognitively demanding periods, like in class, compared to in between the class breaks, like recess. So the EEG recorded by ThinkGear circuitry shows good concurrent validity when compared to a research-grade EEG system, and when used by children, it shows the expected range changes in EEG band power for different psychological states, for example, eyes open compared to eyes closed, or an attention task. Boom! Amazing. So this is not your going to Toys R Us to pick up some gimmicky, toy that was at the toy convention in New York City. This is something that is actually being used in research now. Very important. And in June, they finished up a research study in China, which really got my attention because the results were incredible. And it wasn't just the results in class. These kids' lives outside of class changed. Their status in their social circles changed. Their status in their family changed. So it's amazing what continues to happen. Now, let's see how we're doing here. before we go there, let me bring this back over here real quick. Do I got any questions? Some of this is pretty technical, some geeky stuff going on here. Well, let me see if I have any questions. The headsets. Yeah, the headsets are actually very compact, and when they're on the head, you'll see another picture of them. The left lead goes right above the left eyebrow, and there's a small clip on the left ear. I have clients 40 years old all the way down to 5 and 6 years old using them with no problem. Now those are sold separately, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Any other questions from that? No. Yes. Once this is downloaded, we'll get to that part about how the progress is actually tracked. There's a system that goes with it that you download. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes, so pay attention. All right, we're going to move right along. So let's go here. So all you need to know about Pocus. Very, very important. So now we've covered the fact that we're dealing with a video game that's research-based. We know that we're dealing with not just a joystick and something like your Xbox. This is the next most amazing thing that's happening, and the brain-computer interface industry is taking off. So let's move on. So Pocus is a fun game designed to provide practice at important skills such as attention, relaxation, impulse control, and memory. You train to develop your powers via 12 engaging mini games. These are pretty interesting games, somewhat based on, a Harry Potter feel kind of way of doing it. But as we go through, what was it designed to do? It was designed to help prove intention, impulse control, and memory. Very important, right? This is why it's going to be incredible when we really tap into the school systems. And I have a very strong network of special education department administrators who have already written up the definitions for IEPs for this program. Because in IEP, you can't necessarily just choose one thing. It's got to have a definition, but the definition can be molded to point towards a certain thing, if you follow my gist. Now, back to this. As shown, learning outcomes depend on your readiness to learn. Let's say that again so it sinks in. Learning outcomes depend on your readiness to learn. I had a phone call the other day from a wife who was just at her wit's end with how her husband was behaving and the ADHD and all the other problems and stuff like that. And I asked her a question, does he want help? Because when somebody wants help, that's when their readiness to learn also occurs. When we have this readiness to learn that it's primed, the body and the brain is ready to accept it, to absorb it. Anybody who's learning something new, we all know that. Entrepreneurs, we know that. We buy tons and tons of how to do something and then they don't follow through with it, okay? So your readiness to learn is important. So with children, getting them primed with their readiness to learn, their state factors, their attention, their memory, their impulse control, huge. And the fact that we can do this with a video game, it's right towards them. They love this stuff. Now Pocus trains these important readiness factors. And who can benefit from it? Just like it says, children with ADHD who show problems with attention, impulsivity, and hyperactivity, and also other children who show minor problems with attention, memory, and or impulse control. Got it? So look at the words there. There's 6 different kinds of words. We have inattention, we've got attention, we've got impulsivity, impulse control, we've got hyperactivity, we've got memory. So back and forth, we said, yes, this is geared directly to help people with ADHD or ADD, but I believe that other kids, and we talked about this earlier, about the emotional intelligence that they can learn, and adults are also using this to help out. There's 3 research studies going on right now. One of them is on adults. But even with education, that's where it's going to enhance education in public schools to help kids. They don't necessarily just have to be, labeled with the ADHD label or in an IEP or something like that. This can help a lot of people. Now, how does it help? This was a big question yesterday we had in our United States webinar, basically. Research has shown that behavior can be improved by using techniques to enhance state and cognitive factors. That's important. So we need to know that's how it is. One of the ways it's going to help is also the way that it monitors the brain waves while the person's using the games. Now, has research been conducted? Yes, we've beaten that like a dead horse. So 3 published studies already have shown behavioral improvements for children with ADD and ADHD after using Pocus. The most recent one right here is that one from China, which is pretty amazing. Now, 3 more randomized control trials are already gone. One of them, I believe, I saw the other day coming through my emails, has to do with people that have heart disease. And that's going to be interesting for controlling their emotional intelligence, controlling, see where that's going to go. We know they're doing a study with children, and we know they're doing a study with adults. Now, what types of exercises are used? There's cognitive training, which works with the working memory and impulse control with passive attention monitoring. Got it? So the EEG that's giving the brain waves to the Bluetooth, the game is monitoring those waves as the person uses the games and goes up in a level for 25 different sessions. The neurofeedback training itself is helping the person to understand when they're paying attention, what it feels like to them. Are they feeling in their head, in their chest, in their stomach? Like, how do they reproduce that when they're not at the computer? How do they reproduce it when they're at a boardroom? How do they reproduce it if they're at a spelling test or on the playground or maybe at a soccer field? These are the takeaways from using Pocus. Now, cognitive training, what is it? Mind wave records attention level and sends to the game via the Bluetooth. Most iPads, Macs, PCs, laptops all have the Bluetooth already put in there. Pocus games exercise working memory and impulse control. The child learns to increase memory capacity and improve impulse control in the context of high attention levels. So what is neurofeedback? The mind wave, the EEG headset, records brain activity and sends it to the game via the Bluetooth. We said that. Now Pocus gives feedback on the brain activity in a fun way in those 12 mini games. So now the child learns an awareness of their own attention and relaxation levels. That's where this emotional intelligence piece is coming in. With practice, they learn how to control them. The training is fun. These are some of the 6 favorite games that are used. This one has actually 3 or 4 things going on within this one. There's a countdown timer here. The focus meter here, with sustained focus, you push it up, that grows this fireball that this little guy's holding here. There's a power meter that goes up. When it gets big enough, you hit the screen and it goes over and takes care of the dragon. Now the dragon's got its own little health meter, so we gotta see how many times we can stay focused and beat this dragon. This is more of your beat the necromancer. You've got projectile motion and strategy and skill. This one is literally telekinesis, is focusing your brain waves, moving them across from one side to the other. Now you may notice that this icon is blue, this one's orange over here. This person chose to use a relaxation type of mindset for this game, and this one is the focus mindset. This is a broomstick race. This is the impulse control one, where this guy, based on this game, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of monsters. They pop out, you're supposed to touch only this guy's monster. If other monsters pop out, you don't touch them. It's impulse control. It's no go, stop, start training. And obviously, I think each game comes with the ability to add 4 users to it. So people in your household can do that, and they can make up their own people and color their hair and stuff like that. Now, can parents monitor progress? Yes! This is the coolest part. Yes, the focus and application you download with the game, and we're going to go through that next. Free daily training reports on the performance, and you get a free end of training comprehensive report after the 5 training sessions. So we're going to step over here real quick and see how things are going here. Now, just raise your hand if you have a question. See how many questions we get really quickly. Yes, I may have confused someone about the change between focus and relaxation. So there's 3 areas. There's focus, there's relaxation, and there's Zen, which are chosen when the game is chosen to be played. Depending on which one they choose, whether it's focus, then you're using particular brain waves to make the game work better. If it's the relaxation mode, then you're using the meditative brain waves to stay calm, which helps with people learning who get frustrated really easily and also who get are very impulsive. They learn to calm themselves and relax on purpose. It's pretty cool to watch. The Zen is a combination of the optimal place for both focus and the meditation piece. Clear that up. Okay, now let's go through. We're going to check out the rest of this. What is this focus in? So the focus in guide, I'm going to walk you right through it. This is the best webinar. You guys get everything right now, all of it. There's probably not many questions after this when we're done. So when you hit the game, when you buy the game and you download the game with a serial code that we get for you, you're also going to get this manual. We're going to go through it. This is where you would download it. And here's what you're going to be looking at with the game also, is the fact that you're going to get a summary of progress during the most recent session, and this section contains detailed information about the most recent session. You can click on any of those to view them and see how well she's doing. So Jane's working memory and impulse control needs some work. Her focus and attention in the beginning is moderate, so-so, and the productive piece of focus and relaxation, not so good yet. So moving through, as 4 games goes through, the face provides a quick indication of how well the user performed in the most recent working memory exercises. And then it also gives details of the last training session. Okay? Makes sense now? The face provides a quick indication here, and this is the details. So as you go through and the person plays the games, these areas fill in with information and data, because focus in application is receiving the data while the person is playing the Focus Pocus game. Now, here's the face again. We're looking at this stuff, and we got details of, big printouts, her relaxation and meditation, how she's doing here. Okay, so Zen games combine focus and relaxation. Jane must remain relaxed while concentrating on the task in the game in order to achieve a high score. Good. We explain that to our clients as well too, because it's kind of, they're wondering, well, do I do one or do I do the other? Well, we've got to learn how to do both, and they do. They do a very good job. I think it's because it's an engaging game, and it's part of a video game generation too, and it's very helpful. Not to mention the novelty and the coolness of having an EEG headset that's all yours. So after every 4th or 5th training, the session, parents are able to rate how the user's been behaving. So that's one of the pieces that the China study was so amazing. It was that the outside the school changes in status and at home, it was all as rated by the parents. And parents, a lot of the times when they come into my practice, they rarely have a lot of good things to say, because it's been so long and they're just so frustrated and pulling their hair out. There are few that come in and they know that there's something awesome inside their child, and they just know it's there. They've lost it. They don't know how to get it, or the medication has pushed it down really far. That same conversation goes with the spouse. They know something. There's been good times and bad times. So an outside observer also gets to rate how the user's been doing outside of using the games. And the final report contains 5 sections that are accessed by the menu. Got it? Pretty easy stuff. It's amazing. It's so easy to use, and the amount of data that I mean, this is the thing. This hasn't even been brought to the United States yet. I know that in several months we're going to look back, even listen to this webinar and laugh and say, we had no idea how big this was going to get, because we have been looking for something like this. This ties in all the things that behavior modification, emotional intelligence, monitoring, and then you tie it in with a video game with a brain wave data monitoring system that kids like to use. This is going to be amazing. So the next thing, this graph shows your ratings of the user's behavior across the sessions from 1 to before and after, and the ratings made in the focusing. So let me get that explained to you. So look right here. It says, taken at the start and the end of 25 days of exercises. So the training mode that the data is collected on is 25 sessions. In the game, there's a challenge mode where you can have all 12 mini games, and you can do those forever. unlimited forever. I know in the unlocked professional version as well that there's a multiplayer game set up too, so if two people have headsets, they can actually battle each other. Pretty cool. Now this is another graph about working memory graph, impulse control. You imagine printing all of these out for your child's therapist or teacher or whoever's working with them, homeschooling, something like that. Okay, very simple. Very, very simple to use. So you want to get started with this one to save 25% and purchase Focus Pocus from the ADHD Society. You can go to theadhdsociety.com/Focus Pocus. There's a video there that explains Focus Pocus directly from the company. There's a buy button that takes you directly to a PayPal situation where it's $75 and you get the game. And then we will get you the serial code. The fastest now we've been getting the serial code for people from Australia is 1 hour and 10 minutes. The first one was 8 hours. So we have gotten much better at retrieving these serial codes from a completely different continent on the other side of the planet. Now, the NeuroSky EEG headset, the MindWave Mobile, is sold separately. The ADHD Society has a $15 discount code for you. Okay, we're not going to be buying them and trying to make 15 bucks off of people. So we're going to extend the discount code to you and also give you picture instructions on exactly where to buy this on the Amazon store for NeuroSky. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, leave that up there for a second. The ADHD Society is really a growing community of people that, to me, are the brilliant misfits of the world. We're misunderstood. We've been labeled. I don't believe that attention deficit is even correct. It's more of a surplus, the ability to filter out all these distractions and really stay focused on something. And the disorder piece is disconcerting to me anyway, because I've seen people with ADHD do incredible things that even normal folks, quote unquote normal folks, could ever even think to achieve. So trust me when I have a compassion for this whole community, and I will continue to push forward with whatever I can do. Now I'm going to open the floor for a little bit with questions. Since this is more of the international version, there may be different questions than we had in the United States. Let's see. Yes, I am able to help people online, whether it's Skype or actually Google Hangouts, emails, phone calls. I have clients driving in from an hour and a half away, even in the United States, and so several of their sessions are online with webcams and things like that, because a lot of the work can be done at home with our large program. This game itself, obviously you can have yourself on any of your electronic devices, but particularly, yes, I'm able to talk with and evaluate and help and get started with anybody anywhere nowadays. The only drawback to folks in international or outside or on the other side of the United States is the adjustment piece or the chiropractic piece. But we're finding out we're trying to augment all the other pieces of the ADHD rescue program so that we can get as many people as help as possible. Another question. No, downloading the game is not hard. Downloading the game is very easy. There's also a tech support division for NeuroCog who handle all of that situation with whether it's on your laptop or your PC. PC, you may have to get a Bluetooth adapter, just they look like a little dongle. The Mac goes in really well, and iPods, iPads, things like that. Like I said, there's tech support with NeuroCog. The ADHD Society, Dr. Edka is not tech support for you guys. My job is to dampen the negative aspects of ADHD and explode the positive, the curiosity, the creativity, the energy, the brilliance of each individual that we meet. What's the next question? These are coming through really quickly. I'm trying to keep up with them. Yeah, more of a statement than anything else. Yeah, I think the jury is definitely in on that this is genetic, and ADHD is a genetic thing that occurs in the family. If it's from either the mother or the father, one person causes definitely, I think, a 1 in 4 chance in the family, and then if it's from both parents, you're looking at a 50% chance that someone's going to get it. But they literally have checked out genetically that if they had identical twins and they separated them geographically, and they had the same traits and symptoms of ADHD, whether they live together or not. Plus, they've also done lots of longitudinal studies where looking at parents and other kids. So yes, genetics. What's the next one? Helping me get into schools. Thank you very much. That's a great question. I appreciate it. Yes, I would be happy to email back and forth in the beginning, if it's international or across the United States, to meet with people that are school administrators and to discuss any IEP situations with this and to bring it into school systems. That also goes for homeschooling. That also goes for private schools. They can contact me at info.dredka@gmail.com. info.dredka@gmail.com. Perfect. All right. Okay, last question. Yes. So it is a two-part process. I guess someone's already clicked on that link and they've gone to the Pocus buying page. And on the buying page it discusses that when you buy the Pocus, then NeuroCog has to get the serial code to the ADHD Society and we get it to you. I know it's a manual process at the moment, working on the automatic piece to that, and it's getting faster and faster. But yes, it's a two-part process. You buy the video game, and then NeuroCog is going to give us a serial code for that because they want to house the main game, obviously, on their own servers. So you download Pocus from NeuroCog's server. Got it? That way, if there's ever updates and things like that, they only have to update one game and everybody else's is fixed. It's perfect that way. And yeah, of course, the NeuroSky headset you get from Amazon, and on that page right there, the ADHDsociety.com/Pocus has a link to the discount code and also the instructions on how to get it. And that's all on you. All right. I think we've covered everything. And if anybody has any other questions, you're on our emailing list. You can literally reply to any of those emails, and those emails will find their way into my computer in my lap, and I will reply to each and every single one because I want to make sure this community is communicated with and taken care of, because I believe it's my job to do that because I don't see anybody else stepping up like we are. And I appreciate your time tonight, and the ADHD Society appreciates your time. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.